cities, executive officers, my colleague director present here, the ATG media present from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and the sector partners who have joined us virtually. Very good afternoon to everyone, and we welcome you to this launch ceremony of 2023 Swachh Survekshan, which is very special, being the eighth such consecutive assessment being taken up by the ministry here. As everybody is aware, what started as a measurement of physical progress, or in 73 cities in the year 2016, has currently grown in scale. And now it is not just fostering healthy competition amongst cities to improve their performance, but in a way, it has also accelerated the progress of mission. It has also accelerated the way cities are implementing sanitation and various sanitation-related activities. This has also resulted in the improvement of services that citizens are getting at the end of the day. And not just that, it's not about cities doing something, assessment agency going and doing the survey and assessment. There is a very large scale of citizen participation during the entire process. I doubt if any other survey would be having this scale of citizen participation year after year and across cities, not just in cities, in every ward of every city. So this kind of a scale is quite unprecedented. And this has been possible only because of the participation of the cities and the wholehearted support of the state government and the UT administrations. Next. If we see the journey of Swachh Survekshan, as I was just mentioning, this journey started in 2016. It was like a sample where we took up the measurement of physical progress in 73 cities. Thereafter, it was scaled up 10 times. Around 400 plus cities took part in the annual survey. Here, outputs were measured. In the first assessment that was done, Mysuru emerged as the best city, and thereafter, from 2017, consecutively, Indore has been taking the top slot as the cleanest city. Every year, we have added new parameters, some new indicators have come up, some process change has been also introduced. Every year, we have a new theme. So, not just certain core activities are standardized and stabilized, but every year we go a little upwards and forward as far as sanitation activities are concerned. And last year was a very special edition once again, because it was the 7th edition of Swachh Survekshan, which was launched on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And in this, the highest number of cities participation has been recorded, which is 4355. And this has been successfully completed, and the tabulation of the same is going on. In this year, it has been decided that the theme will be waste to wealth. How exactly, that I will be explaining in a while. Next. The ministry here is committed for quality assurance. This is an extremely large assessment that is taken up by the ministry. It is very important that the data that is collected is correct. The process is something which is beyond any kind of a doubt or question. And also it must reflect to the best possible extent the reality and the truth which is there on the ground. Therefore, the ministry puts in its effort by way of various measures to ensure the quality assurance. Before the certification process or the survekshan starts, there is a massive training of the on-field teams, and this training, the quality of the training itself is monitored by the ministry. We have incorporated this time very many surprise field visit elements by senior officers, both from the independent agency as well from our own internal team. Not a single assessor is a resident of the same city where he or she is assessing. And every evidence that is collected has 2 levels of quality checking that has been incorporated. Every single movement of every single assessor is monitored through GPS. There is also adequate grievance redressal. All of you are aware that till the last minute you were raising complaints, concerns, and we tried our level best to address all your grievances. Any complaint that even came from citizens or from other bodies, There is also a dedicated assessor monitoring cell in terms of how much they cover, what is the kind of sample they are taking. Most importantly, we had a very large transition this time. Earlier, every assessment that used to happen, the assessing body will come, do the assessment, have the data, give the result to the ministry. This time, for the first time, the entire data is on ministry's portal itself, Swachha portal. And therefore, some of you have, of course, experienced some kind of a data uploading issues at the last minute. I'm sure as we move forward, this will not happen. This was a very, very large data migration that we have done in this particular SS2022 assessment. Next. Moving forward, I would also like to share that this survekshan is rated as the largest urban sanitation annual survey. There have been many surveys that come maybe once in 3 years, once in 4 years, which could have a sample size and a rigor, which might be a little more than this. But there is no other possible survey happening in urban areas, happening every year consecutively now for 7 years, happening at this scale. And this year in 2022, we had 4355 cities participating, 7 states requested for exemption of 119 urban local bodies. One particular state government did not participate. Other than that, every single city has participated in SS2022. And our assessors have covered more than 2 lakh sites. They have gone through more than 5.5 lakh documents, soft and hard. Every single ward except that of one state has been covered. More than 1.14 crore citizen feedback has been received. And we have touched over 4.77 lakh citizens on ground trying to validate the data that cities have claimed on the Swachha portal. We have collected more than 23.38 lakh photo and video with pictographic evidences. And more importantly, more than 17 lakh data points have been collected. Now, this data repository, which has been created on Swachha portal, will, as we move forward, create a great resource for planning as well as improvement of analysis in the days to come. Next. And as far as citizen feedback is concerned, I was mentioning that this is one of those rare surveys where there is such a large citizen feedback or citizen interaction. We have 6 channels to get citizens' feedback, from which we have received over 1.14 crore. We have the vote for your city on the web. The app also, on which we have received more than 15 lakh. On the web, we have received more than 73.92 lakh feedback. On the Swachhata app, we have recorded more than 6 lakh feedback. From face-to-face, 18.5 lakh. And through MyGov, we have received around 1 lakh citizen feedback. So this is a scale which is significantly high. I will quickly share the 2021 analysis, which of course all of you are aware because you have received awards. Now, as you would remember, SS2021 was assessed from a total of 6,000 marks across 3 broad parameters, SLPs being 40%, certification being 20%, and citizen voice being the remaining 30%. Now, we have 13 states in the country which have more than 100 ULBs. Now, these 13 states, we have tried to put across this marking that the states have obtained in SLPs, certification, and citizen voice. The top 5 states across the 3 are Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Punjab. And we can see the performance of all of the states. What is to note here is all those states who are doing well in one parameter are also doing well across the parameters. We did not find any such outlier that one state doing exceptionally well in one is not doing well in the other. And the primary reason is the 91 points parameters on which we assess are all interlinked. So it is not possible that you do exceptionally high in one and not do anything in the other. Similarly, we have states around which are less than 100 ULBs. And if you look at the performance, Jharkhand is the one that is leading here in this category of states, with Himachal, Uttarakhand, and Kerala being slightly lagging behind. We are very hopeful that this time we will see improved performance across parameters in the states. All these data is available on the dashboard. We urge states and cities to make use of this data when taking your review, not just your review, but also to plan as to where is the improvement that is required. Next. Similarly, in the Northeast category of states, we see that Assam is leading in terms of its performance across the parameters, followed by Sikkim and Tripura. There are certain states that are yet to score anything in terms of certification because they have not had certification awarded till that point of time. Similarly, amongst union territories, we see Chandigarh is leading, closely followed by Delhi, and some amount of work that possibly we will have to do in Puducherry, Daman and Diu, Jammu Kashmir, etc. Now, under this is a broad thing which we are showing, but under each of these parameters, every indicator, the trend of every indicator is something which is there in your own login IDs. Once again, I will request everybody to make use of this data to understand what exactly is happening on ground. Now we will come to the Swachh Survekshan-2023, for which all of you have been waiting. What is new in Swachh Survekshan 2023? So from 2022, which was assessed from 7,500 marks, we move forward to 9,500 marks. So cities will be evaluated from 9,500 marks. And here we have significantly increased the proportion of the service level progress, which is our bread and butter of segregation, processing, etc., door-to-door collection, the efficiency of transportation, everything being under this category. This is where the weightage has been increased. Certification being 26% and citizens' voice being 26%. This is the overall pie. And within that, next, most important change that we are bringing in is the assessment moves in 4 phases to evaluate progress across all 4 quarters instead of 3 quarters till now. Again, another important change. We have received feedback that there is a lot of activity in the cities when the final phase of assessment happens, whereas so much of activity is not there during the other parts of the year. To bring in more activity, or rather sanitation being a culture rather than just an activity to be done for the purpose of certification, we have brought in another change, which is there will be field assessment of processing facilities. Not all the parameters will be assessed, but processing facilities will be assessed in the newly introduced phase 3. Very importantly, the claim that the cities will be making will be made available on the public domain for the first time for the feedback of the citizen starting from quarter 3, phase 3. And citizen validation of select indicator has also been introduced in the phase 3. These are extremely important changes. And very importantly, there is a very powerful component of citizen validation being introduced and data being available on public domain in this newly introduced phase 3. Another important change is earlier, citizen feedback was initiated much later when the lead happened. Now, citizen feedback will be initiated much earlier from 1st of October. Other than these broad changes, we have some other changes also. Next, what I was just explaining now, as against the earlier phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and the phase 4, which was there, here we have April and May will come for the phase 1. So the assessment begins from on-call validation begins from June. Then June and July will be your phase 2. That will comprise of 10% of the mark, with the previous on-call validation being 7% of the marking. So phase 1 and phase 2 on-call validation will comprise of 17% of the total scoring. Phase 3, the new component, will be August and September. And this will carry a 36% of the marking. And of the claims of the ULBs that will be made available on the public domain, the feedback will carry a weightage of 50% on phase 3, and the remaining will go on the other phase. October, December will be phase 4, and we will have the league straight starting from January instead of March. This time we received feedback from some of the commissioners that when the league happens, that is the time when we are having the trees shed the leaves, we are having this kind of an issue that the league can possibly be slightly advanced. So to address not just this, but the entire timetable of the calendar of the year, we thought that we will align it in a manner that it can be completed by December with your final league beginning from January. And accordingly, citizen feedback, which the first phase starts from 1st of October. Next. The next important thing which we want to highlight is the theme of waste to wealth. Now, why waste to wealth? We have increased the weightage of segregated door-to-door collection, which is the key to all our activities, from the earlier 10% to 13%. We have increased weightage of plastic waste management from 2% to 10% in view of the single-use plastic ban getting effective from 30th of June this year. There is also an increased weightage for various indicators based on the reduce, reuse, and recycle principles, be it your zero waste events or waste to wealth parks or other activities which are under the 3R overall umbrella. And there will be continued focus on waste processing with a good substantial weightage of 40%. So segregation of waste, collection, transportation, processing, plastic management, reduce, reuse, recycle. This will be our main thrust in this particular survekshan, and hence the theme that has been decided by the ministry for this year is waste to wealth. Next. A few other changes that we have brought in to just the way ministry does the Swachh Survekshan here. It is very important that this energy, this competition, this culture of sanitation reaches till the last mile. And for that, we have introduced the Swachh Ward indicator with a higher percentage, which was earlier only 1% weight. We have increased it to 13%. And we are also going to issue a detailed protocol of Swachh Ward to be done in a systematic, structured manner across all the 85,000 wards of the country. We have also increased the weightage for yellow spots, which is open urination spots, from 10% to 18%. And we have introduced a new spotting, which is the red spots, for spitting in public areas and the cleaning of public areas component. There is also an increased weightage for Divyang-friendly toilets from 3% to 9%. And there is also a focus on involving youth, cadets, and students in different cleanliness and maintenance activities that has been continued, like in SS 2022. Now coming to the award categories. Award categories remain more or less the same. As all of you are aware, we had 11 categories of awards and 129 awards in all. And like last year, Safai Mitra Suraksha Awards, which was number, will continue. What has been introduced this year is fastest mover cities will be acknowledged and awarded, not just at the national level, but also at the state level. So for fastest mover category, 42 new awards have been created, which will be introduced awarded at the state level. This is the only modification that has been brought in as far as award categories, rest remaining the same. So this is in brief the SS 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very comprehensive overview. I would now like to request Secretary Mogua to release the Swachh Survekshan-2023 Toolkit. Over 7 years, as has already been reiterated multiple times, Swachh Survekshan has evolved from a mere monitoring tool in the first round of 2016 to a governance tool and a mission accelerator. We will now watch a short video that takes us on this journey of evolution of Swachh Survekshan over the years and including the unique features that distinguish the Swachh Survekshan 2023.
ये साल था 2014 जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने स्वच्छ भारत मिशन शुरू कर महात्मा गांधी के स्वच्छ भारत के सपने को अपनी आंखों से देखा
कि मेरे 125 करोड़ देशवासी भारत माँ के संतान हमारी इस भारत माँ को अब गंदा नहीं रहने देंगे। पूज्य बापू को सपनों को पूरा करने में हम कोताही नहीं बरतेंगे और ये जिम्मेवारी हम सबकी है।
फिर क्या देश ने आजादी के बाद पहली बार स्वच्छता के उस आंदोलन को देखा जिसमें बच्चे, बूढ़े, जवान और महिलाएं सभी शामिल थे। सड़क का कूड़ा अब उन्हें बोझ सा लगने लगा था। स्वच्छता के स्लोगन सिर्फ दीवारों पर नहीं लिखे गए बल्कि लोगों के दिलों में उतर गए। इस ऐतिहासिक बदलाव को देश के हर शहर तक पहुंचाया वर्ष 2016 में शुरू हुए स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण ने। इस सर्वेक्षण ने देश के हजारों शहरों के लोगों को 52 से अधिक मापदंडों के आधार पर प्राप्त अंकों के द्वारा मौका दिया अपने शहर को स्वच्छता में सबसे अव्वल बनाकर पुरस्कार पाने का। सिर्फ 73 शहरों, 1 लाख सिटीजन फीडबैक और मेजरिंग फिजिकल प्रोग्रेस पर फोकस के साथ इस सफर की सफल शुरुआत हुई। स्वच्छता के प्रति लोगों की बदली सोच, सकारात्मक प्रतिस्पर्धा और साल दर साल नए एवोल्यूशन के साथ ये सफर वर्ष 2022 में 4,355 शहर और पीपल फर्स्ट पर जा पहुंचा है। वर्ष 2023 में इस सफर का फोकस वेस्ट टू वेल्थ होगा। साथ ही वर्ष 2023 में कुल अंकों की संख्या वर्ष 2022 के 7,500 से बढ़कर 9,500 होगी। इस वर्ष पहली बार असेसमेंट प्रोग्रेस 4 तिमाहियों में 4 चरणों में किया जाएगा। फेज 1 और फेज 2 का मूल्यांकन SS 2022 के लिए डिजाइन किए गए सर्विस लेवल प्रोग्रेस इंडिकेटर के आधार पर होगा। तीसरे फेज में फील्ड असेसमेंट और सिटीजन वॉइस इंट्रोड्यूस किए गए हैं। ULB द्वारा किए गए दावे लोगों की प्रतिक्रिया के लिए सार्वजनिक डोमेन पर उपलब्ध होंगे। हालांकि इनका वैलिडेशन नागरिकों के द्वारा ही होगा। साथ ही असेसर्स प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट्स का फील्ड पर जाकर मूल्यांकन करेंगे। चौथे फेज में शहरों के स्थानीय निकायों द्वारा काम की दी गई जानकारी का ऑन फील्ड वैलिडेशन किया जाएगा। साल 2023 के लिए अंकों के साथ साथ इवैल्यूएशन पैरामीटर्स में बदलाव भी किए गए हैं। अलग अलग डोर टू डोर कलेक्शन के लिए अंक 10% से बढ़ाकर 13%। बैक लेन्स की सफाई के लिए विशेष ध्यान दिया गया है और इसे 1% से बढ़ाकर 3%। प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए 2% से बढ़ाकर 9% और दिव्यांगों के अनुकूल शौचालयों के लिए अंकों का प्रतिशत 3 से बढ़ाकर 9% किया गया है। इसके अलावा एनसीसी कैडेट्स, NYKS, NSS को भी क्लेanलीनेस और मॉन्यूमेंट्स के मेंटेनेंस और फ्रीडम फाइटर्स से जुड़े पार्कों की सफाई और रखरखाव से जोड़ा गया है। भारत का हर शहर अब बदल रहा है और स्वच्छता के तमाम मापदंडों का पालन कर न्यू इंडिया के निर्माण में निभा रहा है महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका।
I now request Secretary Mahua to address the audience.
नमस्कार, रूपा, बवेजा जी, श्री झा, स्टेट से जुड़े हुए सभी सचिवगण और म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन से जुड़े हुए कमिश्नर्स और उनके ऑफिसर्स। जैसा कि पहले रूपा ने बताया कि स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण अब एक असेसमेंट टूल की बजाय एक प्रेरणा का टूल बन चुका है, और इसके कारण, इस गवर्नेंस टूल के कारण काफी बदलाव म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशंस और उनके ऑफिसर्स और जनता के स्वच्छता के प्रति जो स्टेप्स वो लोग ले रहे हैं उसमें हमें देखने को मिला है। शहरों में जाते हैं तो जो शहर बड़ा अच्छा कर रहे हैं वो उनके सिटीजन्स का एंथुजियाज्म हमें देखने को मिलता है, उनका इन्वॉल्वमेंट देखने को मिलता है, उनका गर्व देखने को मिलता है। पर हमें ये देखना है कि स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण सिर्फ जो अव्वल नंबर पे शहर आ रहे हैं उनके लिए नहीं है। ये जो शहर बहुत अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो एवरेज कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और उनमें जो इम्प्रूवमेंट जो आ रहा है वो स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण में हम ठीक से माप सके, उसको ठीक से रिफ्लेक्ट कर सके, ये इस बार हमारा प्रयास रहा है। जो शहर बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं वो तो अच्छा करे ही, पर जो शहर अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं वो और बेहतर करें। अगर हम देखें जो शहर अच्छा कर रहे हैं और जो शहर अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं, उनमें सबसे बड़ा डिफरेंस जो हमको देखने को मिलता है, अंतर देखने को मिलता है, वो वहाँ के प्रशासन की कैपेबिलिटी पे होता है। जो नागरिक हैं वो तो सभी जगह स्वच्छता चाहते हैं। ऐसा देश में शायद ही कोई इलाका होगा जहाँ लोग नहीं चाहते कि उनका एरिया, उनकी जगह स्वच्छ हो। पर म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशंस या म्युनिसिपैलिटीज से उनको वो सेवाएं नहीं मिल पाती ताकि उनकी जगह स्वच्छ रह सके। तो जितने भी हमने शहर देखे हैं जो अच्छा कर रहे हैं स्वच्छता में, वो सिर्फ स्वच्छता में ही नहीं अच्छा कर रहे, उनकी रेवेन्यू भी ज्यादा है, उनको दूसरी स्कीम्स के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में भी आगे हैं, उनका काफी उचित स्टाफ है, कैपेबल इंजीनियरिंग स्टाफ है, एडिक्वेट नंबर ऑफ स्टाफ है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से सपोर्ट मिल रहा है, पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट मिल रहा है, और इन सब के माध्यम से वहाँ के नागरिकों की भागीदारी भी सर्वेक्षण में बढ़ रही है। तो हमारे सर्वेक्षण का हमारा प्रयास ये है कि हम इन सब चीजों को उचित तरीके से मेजर कर सकें, खासतौर पे स्वच्छता का लेवल मेजर कर सकें। कई और पैरामीटर्स भी हैं जो आपको नज करते हैं कि आप नए डायरेक्शंस पे जाएं, जैसे सफाई मित्र चैलेंज है, दिव्यांगों के लिए टॉयलेट्स हैं, और भी कई चीजें हैं जो आपको नज कर रही हैं। पर हमारा प्रयास ये है कि नज कर रही है जो चीजें वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, पर जो मूलतः जो सबसे कोर है कि आप कितना सेग्रीगेटेड वेस्ट कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वो वेस्ट कितना सेग्रीगेटेड है, उसकी प्रोसेसिंग कितनी कर रहे हैं, और उसका प्रोसेसिंग से आप कितना मूल्य निकाल पा रहे हैं, कितनी वैल्यू निकाल पा रहे हैं। ये कोर है स्वच्छता की, और ये कोर बनी रहे स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण में, ये हमारा प्रयास है। मुझे आशा है कि सभी का इसमें अच्छी भागीदारी रहेगी। कई शहर अच्छा करने के लिए सभी जैसे परीक्षा में सभी स्टूडेंट्स कोशिश करते हैं कि हर चीज, हर एस्पेक्ट कवर कर ले, अच्छा करें, अव्वल नंबर पे आए। काफी शहर इसमें लगे रहते हैं। उनको हमारी बेस्ट विशेस है कि वो अच्छा करते रहें और दूसरों के प्रेरणा स्रोत बनते रहें। पर सबसे ज्यादा हमारी निगाह जो एवरेज लेवल के शहर हैं, या जो शहर अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, जो वेस्ट की प्रोसेसिंग नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो अगर स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण से बेहतर कर सके, वो हमारा सबसे अधिक प्रयास रहेगा। स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में भी सबसे अधिक हमारा प्रयास वही रहेगा कि हम देश के हर कोने में स्वच्छता का सेम लेवल ला सकें। वही प्रधानमंत्री जी का सपना है, वही गांधी जी का भी सपना था, और स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण का वही प्रयास रहेगा। और नागरिकों का फीडबैक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, वो उचित तरीके से हमें फीडबैक मिलता रहे। ये हमने सर्वेक्षण में उसको डिजाइन में लाने की कोशिश की है, और मेरा आप लोगों से निवेदन है कि उसको उसी तरह से रहने दें ताकि हमें जो फ्रैंक फीडबैक है सिटीजन्स का वो मिल सके और उससे आपकी परफॉर्मेंस भी में इम्प्रूवमेंट ला सके। स्वच्छता पूरे एक साल भर के में हर दिन करते रहने का काम है। किसी भी दिन अगर काम कम करेंगे तो स्वच्छता उस समय के लिए गायब हो जाती है। इसलिए सर्वेक्षण में प्रयास यही है कि पूरे साल में आप लोग जो काम कर रहे हैं उसका हम मेजरमेंट कर सकें, आपके प्रोसेसिंग सिस्टम्स का मेजरमेंट कर सकें। मैं आपको इसके साथ ही बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को और हमारे सर्वेक्षण करने वालों को कि इस साल का सर्वेक्षण बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हो और आप लोगों में जो बेस्ट काम कर रहे हैं वो हमारे सामने आ सके। नमस्कार।
Your valuable time to chair this launch session. We have now come to the end of the launch ceremony. Thank you for participating in the program and we wish you all the best in your preparations for the upcoming round of survection. We will now be closing the meeting. Thank you.